this is really only for those that do not take any applications. You really need to be CEP, or you need to be provision district wide. Yeah, still not gonna let me do my poll. Okay. So, but you can, I mean, you can listen, but this is not going to be very much help. But just to make sure you're either, I mean, it's okay if you're like part provision 2, part CEP. We have some people that are just CEP throughout. We have some people that are provision 2. Oh, it's okay. I'm not either. That's okay. Okay, so that's the one we did this morning. And this will be up on OSDE Connect this afternoon, or I'm sorry, not this afternoon. This will be in OSDE Connect probably Monday. We have to go through certain protocols before we can pull it up, and we have to get it in OSDE Connect, but we will be having both in there. We'll have the provision, and we'll also be having the regular one. So the regular one went through everything. If you collect any applications at all, you do need to go to the other one because it tells you where to, and you can even get the slides. The slides are in other documents, and they are a walkthrough of how, and we're going to send them out. They're a walkthrough of how to fill out the verification. So this verification that we're going to be going over today, this report, is only for those that you did not take any applications. You're not in a base year. You're just provision 2, provision 3, CEP, or a combination of both. No applications were taken at all. So if you guys want to stay on, you can, but I just don't want to confuse you because you have a lot more to do. If you do take applications at all, you do need to watch the other verification, which will be up in OSDE Connect. We're hoping it'll be next week for sure. We have to deal with other people in the agency. If we had it just in our office, it would be done today, but that's not the case. We have to rely on other people. So it takes a little bit for things to get up and running. So again, this training today that I'm going to be going over is just for those that are RCCIs, that you do not take applications, or your provision 2, 3, or CEP, or a combination of both. You're not in a base year. You did not have to do verification this year. If you had to do verification, then you needed to watch the other one this morning, and it will be in OSDE Connect. This one that we're doing now is if you did not do verification, you didn't need to because you did not take applications. So that's just a little bit difference between the two, from the one this morning versus the one this afternoon. And we do have some people on today. Becky's on here, and so she's going to help answer some questions that you guys might have. And again, we're only going over the ones that you do not collect any applications at all, your full CEP, provision 2, provision 3, or a combination of both, and you're not in a base year where you took applications. So let's get started. So again, verification is not required. Like if you have RCCIs that do not have day students, schools that are CEP, schools that are provision 2 or 3 in your non-base year, anybody that really, if you did not collect applications, you did not have to do verification. So that's kind of the essential about what it is if you had to do verification or not. If you collected household applications, then you had to do verification. So today's only going to be talking about those that did not get applications. You're in a non-base year. So you're doing everything based on your provision 2, 3, or CEP information, non-base year. And it's okay if you're a combination of both. Like if you're a combination of CEP and provision 2, we have some schools that are like that. But if you do have regular counting and claiming schools and you did get applications, including doing provision, then we won't be covering that. That was in this morning's training where we covered it all. So you can listen to that when it comes out in OSDE Connect later on this. I'd say it'll come out next week. So the verification report, just so you are aware, the low income report first has to be approved by our office. Once you have sent in your low income report and we approved it, then you can do your November claim. After you submit and certify your November claim, then you're going to be able to do your verification summary report. Now, then after you do your verification summary report, after you complete it, then you'll be able to do your December claim. So those are kind of the steps. So if you are not able to get into your verification report yet, it may be because you haven't done your November claim yet. So if you're having an issue, just let us know and we'll see, we can go and look and figure it out. But this is, again, the timeline between the low income report and the verification summary and how you claim for November and December. There are steps, and it helps us keep everything kind of in line. So because you are provision 2, provision 3 in your non-base year or a CEP school, there are certain tabs. So there's 5 tabs total for the verification summary report. Since you did not take applications, you only need to fill out section 1, 2, 3, and 5.1, and it will make more sense. We're going to go through that. It doesn't mean you have to fill everything out on those pages, but these are the sections that you have to fill out if you are provision in your non-base year. So make sure you go to these tabs. You don't have to look at 4 at all, but these are the tabs that you're going to go to and that you need to fill out the pertinent information for your facility on these tabs. So where is the report? It is also just like CARS. So yes, if you are provision, and that's the one thing I should have said, if I'm not mistaken, I've been out of town for a couple of weeks, but I believe that they are still locked for everybody for CEP because of they're still waiting for information on your enrollment from accreditation. So if you haven't been able to do that stuff yet, it's probably because it is still, we haven't received the information that we need quite yet. So that is a very good, yeah, thanks, Becky. Like I said, I've been out for a while, so I didn't think that we got that information yet. So we still have not received that from accreditation. So for the verification report, where you're gonna go is to, as you can see here, you have your low income report, and then underneath that, it says verification summary report. So that is what you'll click on to do the report that is needed. Again, there's going to be 5 tabs, and every SFA has to complete this form. Again, you don't have to complete everything because you didn't do verification, but there are certain things that you do have to fill out. So if you look at here, when you click on it, it has at the very top, it has applications, summary section 1 and 2, summary section 3 and 4, and summary section 5. You're going to click on these tabs and fill out the information that is needed for you. So because you did not do verification, you will not have to fill out the application tab because you did not have any applications. So you will not fill out the application section. So when you're done, you will just hit, I guess there's save all sections, but again, at the very end, whenever you are done, make sure you are saving and certifying everything to us. That way we can approve it. So again, now in section 1, so it's that first, not the first tab is applications, but the second tab says section 1. It says all SFAs or RCCIs participating in the National School Lunch and School Breakfast must complete this section regardless if you are exempt from verification. So everybody is required to fill this section out right here. You are going to be doing, I don't know if we have any RCC's eyes on today, but if you're a school district, you have to fill out 1-1. So 1-1 in column A is the number of schools or institutions that you have. And this is going to be based on your accreditation. How many sites are you, when you do a claim with us, how many sites is that broken up into? That's what you're going to put in that section right there in A, is how many sites does your district have? And then in column 1-2, in 1-1B, it will be the total number of students with access to the National School Lunch and National School Breakfast program. So we got some questions this morning, and you will put your October 31st numbers there. You can put your October 31st numbers as in column B of how we need to know how many school sites that you have and how many number of students do you have. So that is all that needs to be filled out on 1-1. If we have any RCCIs, you will not fill out the 1-1, you will fill out section 1-2. We need to know how many total RCCIs that you have. And then it also is if you have, because you may be an RCCI with day students and you may be an RCCI with no day students. So you will fill out what's applicable to your facility if you are an RCCI. The next that you'll do is you'll click on section 2. So you did section 1, just that top row 1-1. Now you're going to go to section 2. This is only for provision schools. Even if you are a mixture of counting and claiming and not, you fill out this part. So if you are a provision 2 in a base year, then you'll fill out 2-1. Again, number A will be the number of schools and number B will be the number of students. If you are a provision in a non-base year, it has information right here in 2-2. So 2-2A is if you are provision 2, 3, reported as when you're in a non-base year, you are getting applications. So you'll tell us how many were free and how many reduced. So again, if you're in a base year, you did not collect applications. So again, you just tell us the number of students that you have, and then again, you tell us the number of sites. But if you are in a base year, then you are collecting, I'm sorry, if you're in a base year, you're collecting applications, I apologize. In a non-base year is when you are not. If you're in CEP, again, you tell us the number of sites that you have and the number of students. And I don't think we have anybody in an alternate NSLP, SBP. I don't even really know what that is, but we can't mess with this form. This is a USDA form. And so if there's any other provisions, which for the reason why this is a USDA form, there are no schools in the nation that are doing provision 1. So if we did have one, they would probably put it in 2-5. So it really depends on if you're provision 2, if you're 2 or 3, or if you're CEP, you will fill this information out right here as well in section 2. Then we have section 3. Section 3 is regarding direct certification. Now it says in 3-1, check the box only if all schools or RCCIs in the SFA were not required to perform direct certification. Everybody is required to pull direct certification. If you're CEP, you only have to pull it once per year, but you can pull it more times than that. So the difference between a base year and a non-base year is it's really more important if it's your first year. So if you're CEP, it's your first year of doing CEP. If you're in a base year for a provision 2 or provision 3, is you're collecting data that year, you're collecting applications, and that information that you're collecting that first year, your base year, tells you what you'll be claiming the following years. A non-base year is a year, so if you're provision 2 or provision 3, the base year is when you're collecting the applications. The non-base year is the years that you do not collect applications. You're using the data from the base year. That's what tells you what to claim for your non-base years, the years that you're not collecting applications. So I hope that makes a little bit more sense. It can be very confusing, but when in the base year, you are collecting information, you're collecting the applications. And again, that's the data that you use for your non-base years. But we call it the base because again, that's what everything is stemming from. And the base year is when you are collecting that information. But if you are in a base year, you are not allowed to charge for meals. All meals have to be served for free. So that I hope maybe helps out about the difference between a base year and what a non-base year is, especially when it comes to provision 2 and provision 3. So there in section 3, so this is section 3 right here. So there is a part, if you are CEP, there's a whole part for provision right here in 2-3. CEP is called community eligibility. You fill out that. It depends. This is for provision 2 and 3. And then if you're CEP, you fill out 2-3. You only fill out the section that applies to you. Maybe you are a school that you have a CEP site and you have a provision 2 site. You will fill out both of these sites. So your base year, if you're CEP, your base year is the data that we collected with your direct certification. That is the base year. So again, if you are CEP, you'll fill out right here, how many sites do you have? And then it says number of students. We need the total number of students that you have for section 2. Section 3 is regarding direct certification. Again, everybody is required, every district is required to pull direct certification. But for CEP, you're only required to pull it 1 time per year, but you can pull it more times. Provision 2, you have to pull it as well. So when you have your direct certification, we need to know how many kids showed up on direct certification. This right here will be from the wave that will say SNAP. If anybody has TANF on there, you will not include your TANF. This will be your direct certification SNAP. So that's the number that you put here based on your direct cert children. And 3-3 is any other directly certified children. So maybe you get a FITPER list from a tribe. Maybe you have a migrant homeless runaway list that you get. Maybe you have somebody at your office that works for DHS and they can pull foster children. Anything that you get directly from another state agency, but not from the DHS, this is from the WAVE. This would be from another organization. You'll put those kids here. Maybe you have a Head Start program. That is the information that we put right here. And yes, I would use your numbers from October 31st, from the last day of the month. And then this is, if you guys, I don't know, it's been a long time since I have seen this, but they still might have it out. If you still get a household, if you still get the direct certification letter, because DHS used to mail, if you remember this, for those of us that have been around for a while, DHS used to mail a letter to all families on SNAP, and they would say, give this to your school district. If you receive any of those letters, that does not go up here in direct certification. That goes in 3-4. 3-4 is if somebody brings you a letter that says it's from DHS saying that the child participates in SNAP and their meal should be free. In section 3-2 is those that are pulled from the WAVE. How many students are pulled on the WAVE? And then 3-3 is how many students are pulled from like FIDPER, from a tribe, or maybe from, like I said, foster, maybe you're a homeless migrant runaway. Yes, everybody has to fill out section 3. Every school district in the state has to fill out section 3. It is required that all schools have to pull direct certification at least one time a year. So this is the information that you would get from when you pulled your direct certification list. Am I telling them wrong on that, Becky? Because I do know it has to be pulled at least once per year. And then I would just pull it and get those numbers from there. So I guess I'm not understanding I'm sorry, number of free students. Okay, I'm sorry. Number of free students. So on this list right here on direct certification, they're automatically free. So it's if they show up on a direct certification list, then they're going to be on here, because on direct certification, they are automatically free. So again, if you pull the WAVE, okay, great. Thanks, Becky. If you pull the WAVE through SNAP, then they're automatically free. So it would be the kids on direct certification, but we'll find out more on that. But you are, it says right here, check the box if you're not required to pull direct certification, and everybody is required to do direct certification. Oh, so they do use this even, okay. They would mark 3-1, so they're not required to do direct certification. Okay, I'll make note of that. And I'll correct these slides that it does not have required to be done. So I will get that updated. Thank you so much for letting me know. And we will get that corrected. So so everybody just clicks 3-1, correct? And then they do not fill out this bottom part at all. Is that correct, Becky? Okay. I will make sure that these slides get updated, and I'll take this out. We'll resend this out to you. We'll resend out the slides, and I'll take this, I'll take the information I just stated out, and we'll put that you mark, I'll circle this that you mark. So only get to this page and click 3-1. Very glad. Thank you, Becky, for being on here and helping me. So in section 4, this is for base year information or any RCCIs. So I don't think we have any RCCIs on right now, but this is section 4. So all I have to say was schools or RCCIs that do collect household applications. So again, this is for those that got the applications and are RCCIs. The RCCIs that fill out the rest of the stuff is the ones that do not collect applications, because we have some RCCIs that do applications and some that do not. On the bottom of that 3, so we have 3 up here and 4 at the bottom. You do not have to fill out anything at the bottom because you do not do anything with section 4. That will just be zeros because you did not get applications. And then at the very bottom, T-1 and T-2 is automatically calculated. So again, all you have to do is just click this box right here is 3-1. And then just everything else can leave as zeros. And then 5-1, we'll go through section 5, and really the only thing that you will fill out is 5-1. So with 5-1, all you do is check this box because you were exempt from verification. You did not do verification at all. So again, on section 5, the only thing that you have to click is 5-1, and you are done with verification. There are other questions there's 5-1, 5-2. You do not have to fill those out. You only have to do the 5-1 and click that, and you are done. So just a really quick little recap. You have to go back to this slide. You do section 1, 1-1, the total sites and total number, the sites that you have in your total number of students. You do section 2, and you do it based on if you are provision 2 or provision 3, or if you're CEP, you fill out the correct box for you. And then in number 3, all you do is do the 3-1 and click not required to do direct certification. And then in section 5, all you do is the 5-1. So because you did not have to do verification, again, you do have to fill this out, but it's very minimal of the information that you do have to fill out for verification report. Does anybody have any questions on this? Do you have any other questions? So we have section 1, section 2. Those are for our schools that are all provision 2, CEP. Just make sure you fill out the correct one. If you're CEP, you are called community eligibility. And then provision 2 and 3, depending on if you're base year or non-base year. And then section 3, you just click the box 3-1. That's all you click. You can leave all this blank. And then in section 5, all you do is check this box, and you are done with provision. Yes, if you are in a base year and you collected applications, then you will have to fill the whole thing out. And we did do a video on that, and we did that one this morning. The slides are out there as well in other documents. So if you just want to look at the slides, it will tell you what to do. I'm going to correct these slides so you guys are aware when we send this back out of what you have to fill out. I'm going to circle the 2, the 3-1 and the 5-1. I'm going to circle those for you, so you know what to do for if you're just provision. If you want to watch it in OSDE Connect, those videos will be out there hopefully next week. And both videos will be out next week. We have to go through different protocols, and we have to go through different people. It's not in our office to get it all up. Yes, that is correct. Unfortunately, we're waiting for accreditation information. And to be honest with you, the accreditation information, it usually does come out in December. I know it's December 1st today. I think it's been around maybe the 8th. So it may take at least one more week. But they will send you out something to let you know that it is available. But again, I know that we're doing the trainings now, but these will all be up, like the low income report is also in OSDE Connect. So that way you can go out there to learn how to do the low income report if you need a refresher. And then we're going to put this out in OSDE Connect as well. I think Sherry, she's really good at OSDE Connect. She's going to have it to where you go into verification summary reports, and then you choose which video that you need to watch. So, so we understand that you may need some of this information later. I don't think if you've already submitted your October claim, just make sure it's also certified. That's the only other thing we want to make sure is that it is certified. So if you have one site that is not, is your one site normal counting and claiming that you get applications for? If you have to get applications, then you have to you do have to fill out section 3. Yes, and you also have to fill out the application site, because you have to fill it out for the applications that you did do verification on. So if you do collect applications at all, you do have to fill out everything. You'll have to fill out section 1, So you'll have to fill out section 2, which has all provision, and then section 3 and section 4 at the very bottom talks about applications, and then you'll fill out the application part. So unfortunately, if you do both, you get to do everything. So if you guys do not have any more questions, you guys are good to go. I'm going to update these slides. We'll put the new slides out into OSDE, out into the other documents, and then we'll send out the corrected slides when we when we get the slides out. We will send them. I'll get them updated and we'll send them out when we send out your certificate. I got a good question about how do we know if you're exempt from verification? You're exempt from the verification process if you did not receive any applications. If you collect any applications at all, you are required to do verification. But if you got no applications, no household applications from families, then you have nothing to verify. But if you receive applications that you got from the household, from the family, then you are required to do verification. And if you were like, oh, I didn't know I had to do verification, you still have to do it. Even though the process that USDA has set in guidelines has already been passed, you still have to do it, and you have 45 days to complete the process. So I hope I answered some of your questions. But it's really pretty easy. And again, I'll get these all updated. I apologize for that. It's been one of those days. But you guys are all free to go, and we'll stick around if anybody has any more questions. I hope that was easy enough, about 30 minutes. But we'll give you credit for an hour, do not worry. Okay, so we got on here that we have 4 sites that are CEP and 1 site that is not. You still have to, so the verification is done based on how many applications that you receive. So it's normally 3% of your error-prone applications that you receive as of October 1st. So it's based off of how many applications you received. So if you got in, let's say you got 100 applications. So 100 applications, 0.3%, you have to verify 3. So verification is done based on how many applications that you received. But you could, like I said, you have 4, say you have 4 sites. So 3 sites, you will, on the very first, your total schools, it'll say like 4, and then you say how many students you have, and then you break it up. When it goes to provision 2 or CEP, what you'll do is when you get to section 2, then here it says how many number, then you'll put on CEP, you'll put 3. You have a total number of 4 sites, but you have 3 that are CEP. And then if you are getting applications, you have to at the very front, which it talks about, and we talk about it in another verification, that you do have to tell us what applications that you verified. All All right, good questions. Do we have any more questions? Well, we thank you all so much for being with us today. And I hope this helped. Again, I will get the slides updated to show the correct information that you have to fill out. And we'll send these out to you. When we send out your certificate. And you guys have a wonderful rest of the week.